Are we doing the little teasy thing? Okay, cool. I don't even know what to say. Hey guys, welcome back to another recap of the Real Housewives of New York. It was a crazy episode tonight. Lots of really awesome one-liners from Bethenny as always. It was the birthday bash for Ramona. Just so much to discuss, so you got to tune in.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Let you have a world party on the day you came to be. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my God, this is great. Good job, Fern. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. Happy birthday, Ramona. Can you guys hear me on here? Okay, good. You can hear. All right, great. I am so excited to be back. Wednesdays can't come soon enough. Not just because it's hump day, not just because I got the hottest girls ever to chill with every Wednesday night, but because it's the Real Housewives of New York City night, and this is the night that we wait for until the season ends. So luckily, we're only at episode 5 because we have a long way to go. I'm your host, Ashley Daniels, here tonight with my beautiful, beautiful co-hosts. You can tweet me at Ashley Daniels, and to
Hi
my
guys,
right,
it's Megan Stecher, and you can tweet me at Megan Stecher.
Hey, this is Lyndsey. You guys can tweet me at Lyndsey Wegner.
Fern Ronay here. You can tweet me at Fern Ronay.
all right, guys, what the heck tonight? I would have never thought overall that Jules and Bethenny would be getting along, that Sonja would be back as much as she was, that LuAnn and Bethenny would have a beef, that just, it was so much, it was not predictable this week, which I was actually really happy about. Overall thoughts on tonight's episode, gals?
I loved it yet again. New York just so delivers. I feel like Fern and I just got through limping through the finish line of Beverly Hills.
Limping,
and
seriously.
so refreshed to come in on Wednesday nights and have another action-packed episode just full of fun and honesty and new friendships and one-liners, and I'm feeling great about the show.
And I'm ready to party with the... Okay.
So cute. I agree. I think this episode was a little bit unpredictable. I didn't write a whole lot for the first part of the episode, and then
Wait, can we just take your notebook for a minute? She didn't write a lot, guys.
And just perfect
pages and
handwriting.
pages.
Just literally 17 pages of notes. Okay.
I didn't. This was pretty much the whole part of the episode. The last page was all the last 10 minutes. I felt like the last 10 minutes there was so much going on, and that was where the drama came in. I thought it was actually more of a tame episode today.
Did you?
Yeah. I feel like I thought it was good, and then I saw the previews for next week. I was like, oh, next week's
big.
really
Yeah, next
good.
week's really big. Yeah. All right. I do agree with you in the sense that the beginning it goes a little slow. Although I think we all really like to hear about Bethenny being a mom. We don't get enough of that because we don't see Brynn on the show. But I am so excited whenever I see Bethenny Snapchatting, just discussing her mothering skills and some of the things that she does with Brynn. And so when I got a little bit of that tonight at the beginning, I was really happy, even though it was so it was non-action packed. But yeah, that's how we start tonight. We start with Bethenny talking about a trip she's planning with Brynn, and I love it. We don't really get to hear a lot of her parenting skills, but one thing that she does is she lets Brynn feel like she is in control. She picks out a couple outfits, and then Brynn has the final choice. But it's funny because Brynn basically has her own assistant because this what's her assistant's name? Julia's like, okay, so Brynn okayed this outfit, and this outfit. Here are the photos, and
She
I'm
has 3 swimsuits.
dying.
She said, here are her night looks. And as soon as that happened, and they're all approved, I was like, I'm sorry. We're having a grown woman get final approval from a 5-year-old. This is great
It was
TV.
incredible. It was incredible. I think I really just stopped. Everything stopped for me when I saw her purse closet, Brynn's purse closet. Then my whole world just collapsed, and I was like, "This is not my life in my 20s. I want to be Brynn in my next life, or Northwest. I'll take any of them, honestly. Apple, any of these girls.
Can you adopt me?
But it was funny. Bethenny's like, she goes, my daughter is just like, my daughter's so incredibly amazing. She's just like me. And I was like, I love it.
And then when she said, well, we haven't reached John Bonet level yet.
Yeah.
And I was
Oh
like,
my God. I was like,
oh gosh, we're getting dangerous.
Pageant girls. She said pageant whatever.
She mentioned someone else's famous name.
No, she
Maybe
said, like, toddlers and tiaras.
Yeah, toddlers and tiaras.
And then she said John Bonet, and I'm like, okay, woo.
For any of our true Housewives fans, like I'm talking like the diehard fans out there, if you guys don't follow her on Snapchat, Bethenny, please do, and then write us and let us know what you think. We're not going to tell you too much because we don't want to taint your thoughts. Good or bad, we just lay it out. Tweet us and let us know once you follow Bethenny Frankel on Snapchat, and let us know what you think. I am so curious because we all have our thoughts. We'll share it with you guys once you share it with us. All right. So, Carole.
Good incentive.
It is. Carole and Dorinda go to dinner. And Carole says she lost her phone. She had no password on it. Carole tells Dorinda that she didn't like the feeling being at Jules' house. She didn't like the vibes. And I think it's interesting with Carole mentioned tonight that she thought Dorinda was being dramatic when Dorinda was defending herself. I can't stand it when people who are mellow get away with being mellow but saying things that are like rude or that jab you or jab somebody else. But then the person that responds, maybe they don't respond in the most calm way as well, but they are responding like it's a lot of valid points that they're making, but they look like the kind of crazier ones. I kind of feel like that's how it is with Carole. She like kind of says things and says them in like a more of a monotone way, and then if you respond to them in another way, you just automatically look like you're the crazy one. How do you guys feel about her conversation with Dorinda overall?
I'm thinking about it differently now that you said that.
Okay.
It was abrupt to me when immediately she sat down and said, can we be catty about that house? And I feel like Bethenny's rubbing off on her so much right now. I love that they have a great friend, that they're very different people and that they're very close now. I think that it frightens me that Carole seems like she's her own girl and very independent, and she wouldn't care what anyone else thinks, and it seems like Bethenny's rubbing off on her a lot, which threw me for a loop in that conversation.
Yeah.
I noticed that on YouTube that everyone was saying they're worried about Carole because Bethenny's rubbing off on her, and she's kind of starting to get a little bit. Carole, we always love Carole. I think Carole's got a nice little snark to her, but she's funny, and she's not always serious. She doesn't take herself too seriously, so it's easy to like her. But that little bit of Bethenny that's a little bit abrasive might be rubbing off on Carole, where she walks into the thing, she's like, can we be catty for a moment? I don't feel like Carole would
I was shocked that she did that.
Yeah.
So unlike her.
It's like Fern Ronay coming in and saying that. Like, it'd be like
a real
what?
bitch.
I mean, Megan and Lyndsey, it's obvious they would do that. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it's true. It's like so far from who she is. And I do think sometimes it's a good thing. It gives you, but sometimes you do become who you hang out with. It is inevitable. You start to talk like them. It's the same person, even when you date somebody, you start to take on each other's good and bad, So I can see where she would get a little bit of Bethenny in her. But it wasn't really, I didn't think that her coming into a situation where she knows she's talking to someone who is really close to Jules, I didn't think it was right to even bring anything up. Especially, it's just so unlike Carole.
But I totally get what you were saying about, like, Carole saying, like, an incendiary comment, like, we were uncomfortable because your boyfriend was there. How do you not expect her to get aggravated? I hate when people do that.
I hate that.
When they say something in a calm voice and then they're like, why do you have to get crazy? I have to get crazy because you said something that's rude and makes me crazy.
Yes,
It's so obnoxious.
It's so obnoxious, and they stay super calm. It's like you just said the stupid, stuff. You just said it. I didn't. I'm responding, and I'm mad that you said that. You're out of line right now. I'm not. I'm still in line, but now I'm going to get mad that you went out of line, and I'm going to raise my voice. I'm not crazy. I'm not dramatic. You just said something, and it's really annoying that that your voice is staying the way it is.
Exactly.
Like, the whole thing becomes so frustrating. So I totally felt for Dorinda. I hate when people say that you're dramatic for responding and defending yourself. So then Jules shows up, and is Carole
So Carole immediately apologized
yes.
for the brunch, which I was like, okay, well, now Carole redeemed herself.
Yes.
Because Jules hadn't even sat down. They were still kissing on the cheek. So I thought that was like a stand-up move.
Totally. But she did mention, Jules says there's new money and old money. Bethenny has new money, and she spends it differently than she does. She's like, Michael has old money, and Bethenny has new money. And I think honestly that all came out of Jules being frustrated and not getting the answers, and she felt bad. They weren't they were kind of mean girls in
Yeah.
her house. I don't think she should have said that, but
Well, she was also talking about the size of her house compared to Bethenny's, and she's like, my house is a lot bigger than Bethenny's is, and I think she was just, I think it was a defense mechanism coming out. I would hope that she wouldn't say something like that, because that's just kind of like, it doesn't matter whether, I mean, we all hear this term on a regular basis. It's the same thing with any political party, you know, new money versus old money, Democrat versus Republican. It's always gonna like upset somebody.
But remember what Dorinda said last season? She goes, money talks and wealth whispers. If they're really wealthy, I don't think they'd ever talk about it. Like, I know somebody that actually is a billionaire. She has never once mentioned that she's a billionaire. It's just everybody knows it. Doesn't talk like she's a billionaire, doesn't say a word. Actually is the complete opposite of someone that would ever talk about money, never brings up money.
But I think she was just throwing a little dig in there at Bethenny.
Yeah, I think
don't
so.
think it's her like sitting there talking that she had. I mean,
I think so
do
too.
you
But
guys
she has
disagree?
she's brought up things several times. I mean, there's
Okay.
other times I think she's brought up stuff about her house. Like she's like, my house is 20. Didn't she say my house is 20? Who said 20?
She said that last week, yeah.
She mentioned square feet, and I don't know if she's particularly old money as much as Michael is.
Right.
So I don't know, but I don't feel like anybody who's super wealthy ever talks about money. They actually don't want people to even like bring it up in front of them. So I don't know, but I agree with you, Lyndsey, that it was obviously a defense mechanism. So then Ramona has. So we find out Ramona has a key to Sonja's apartment tonight. Did you guys know that beforehand?
I'm not surprised.
Not
No, I
surprised.
didn't know.
I didn't know.
Yeah, she says you're knocking, but you have a key. She comes in and they sit down and discuss that Sonja's been drinking a lot more often. And once again, we see Sonja not really responding to this, as same with last year when they would bring it up to her. She kind of had no reaction to it. And she's, I don't know. Ramona always says she loves Sonja so much, but why bring it up on camera? I don't know. She also said, she kind of spoke for Bethenny as well. She said Bethenny didn't invite her to her birthday because she was afraid she was going to drink too much. And Sonja's like, that's weird. I just saw her out. We were fine. She's like, yeah, you saw her out, but you were really buzzed. I heard you were really buzzed. Do you guys think that Ramona overstepped her boundaries and spoke for somebody that she probably shouldn't have? Or was it good for her to do it?
100%. Like Ramona. I can't with the things that come out of her mouth. No, it just like infuriated me, especially in the end, seeing that's not at all why Bethenny didn't invite her. And I really am feeling like really sad for Sonja that this is her storyline again this year. It's like, this is so deja vu. I don't want to go down that road again. It's like, we all know she parties too hard, but that's what we love about her. Moving on.
Yeah.
I feel like Ramona's really digging herself into a hole this season. With Dorinda 2 weeks ago, now with Sonja bringing something up like this that doesn't need to be said on camera. We get that we're trying to like create drama and everything, but I think what really bothered me was the way she approached Sonja about it. I felt very uncomfortable and awkward. This is not the way a friend would say this. Like, oh, you're hanging out with LuAnn. LuAnn's a bad influence, so we know what LuAnn's gonna do. You're gonna be worse than you are right now. I mean, I get what she's saying. I don't know. Something about this really made me feel uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain it.
Me too.
Yeah, I thought it was funny though how Ramona was like, I have to keep my distance from you. I have an image to uphold.
Yes!
And Sonja was like, at least I have a lot of other friends.
Yeah.
She's so hilarious.
I love her.
She has an image to uphold, yet
She sounds like she's 25, like trying to marry like a rich older guy in New York City. So she's like, I can't look like a drunk. You're 59, you're divorced.
Yeah.
Like, just have fun. Go out and get
does
drunk.
anyone else feel like when they see her in the confessionals, she's literally trying to be Avery? The long hair extensions, the makeup.
never thought of that.
the,
I never thought of that either, but-
I feel like it's Avery at 30 years.
I don't have much of a problem with that. I think if anything, if it's going to help her feel confident and help her through this time, I'm all for it.
Yes, but it's the attitude with it.
But I do feel like there's something there, like the way she talks to Sonja. I'm not cool with it. I feel like Ramona is very
Judgmental.
She's judgmental, but at the same time, she does truly care about Sonja, and I understand being in a position, because I was in a similar position where you love somebody and you want them to stop drinking, but you have to understand there's nothing you can do about it. There's a certain point where someone has to take their own responsibility for it, and there's nothing you can do.
Exactly.
And you can bring it up 100 times, but denial is their best friend. So if Sonja really does have a drinking problem, then
That's different. But if she's
Yeah.
embarrassing herself
Right.
and you're like, I want to tell my friend, you're
Yeah.
embarrassing yourself, it just doesn't go over well. So you know what? Go to lunch with her, go to brunch with her, don't hang out with her at
I
night.
do think Ramona did that because she actually isn't embarrassed about her, nor does she even really think that. I just think that you're looking for ways at some point you lose any. There's nothing left to say that makes them feel like they've hit rock bottom, or makes them feel embarrassed, or makes them like wake up. So I think Ramona was trying to wake her up and be like, I'm embarrassed, or whatever she was trying to say. Because at some point, it's like you pinch the person, but they're not feeling it. I think Ramona's intentions were not bad. I don't feel that they were bad. I just feel like she was trying to get through to her. I just don't think it was the right timing, and I think they hadn't seen each other in a while, and it's never good when this situation is brought up. Nothing is good from this.
No, and I agree with Megan that I don't want this to be Sonja's storyline again this year.
No,
Tired.
Absolutely not. I think it's gonna be though. It
feel
seems
bad
like
for her.
she is just sad, and so is LuAnn, from what we see. So then we see quickly Carole FaceTiming Adam on her bed. We all are obsessed with Carole's apartment. It's just the cutest apartment.
As tiny as it is, as she claims.
I know. Well, she's worth $50 million according to that recent. What did we read? Some article recently. So I'm sure she could buy another 15 to 20 of those places. Bethenny and Jules grab lunch together, and this was probably where I would think Lyndsey's notes start to happen. Pretty crazy. I don't even know where to begin with this. We see Bethenny order, we see Jules order, and then we see Jules try to explain why she felt bad. And the one-liners are just pouring out of Bethenny. And she's like, I'm here representing myself, and I'm also representing Jules in the case of Bethenny versus Jules. And she's like trying to help her get her words out, but you could tell Jules is just so nervous. But in the end, she does, and they actually reconcile, and she understands where Bethenny was coming from. Bethenny admits that she was probably abrasive and aggressive, and she was sorry for that. And then out of nowhere, we get what we all thought had happened was Jules says she had an eating disorder for years. She didn't say she has it, but she says you never really get over it. And she had it for 13 years, or was it 13 years ago?
Late teens to early 20s, and at one point she was 80 pounds.
So how did you guys feel when you heard her actually admit that tonight?
Relieved. I was happy because I was happy we weren't being misled as a viewer with all of Bethenny's comments behind her back so far. I was happy that we addressed it, and then it was true. And just the way that it was organically brought up, and she brought it up. It wasn't some messy thing where Bethenny pulled it out of her. Like that, I feel like that's what the promos were leading us to believe. And it just was very calm, and I just relief is the word I'm coming up with. That's it.
Do you think she's going to be bothered, though, when she goes back and sees the show, and then they come to the reunion and she sees the way they were talking about it the first few episodes?
Yeah, I think that'll be
Because now
addressed.
she's being vulnerable and she's opening up about it, and then she has to see that everyone's been talking about it for weeks prior.
But I think Bethenny's reaction will be
redeem
kind
it.
of the defense.
And
And
then
I
she
think
would- yeah.
Jules will be like, I can see why she was saying that. She obviously, it's her mom and her, her
Yes.
deep issues in her mind with her mom.
And then she redeemed herself at the lunch at Ramona's and didn't tell them Jules's secret,
Correct.
which was very the right thing to
Yes.
do.
Absolutely. That's a really good point, Fern. I thought it was a really nice moment between them. It reminded me of the moment between Carole and Dorinda when they were in Paris together, that when they opened up to each other alone and they cried, and it was like, that was kind of their moment of bonding, the two of them, and this was kind of their moment of bonding.
Yeah.
I think that she still suffers. I assume she does, only because I have my sister suffered from it. She's very open about it, so I'm not like airing her dirty laundry. And forever, it's like always a part of you. And so I feel for Jules. I feel bad for her. I see how it can tear your life apart and tear your family apart and tear everything apart. So good for her for trying to get over it, and also for bringing up that she likes to tell people so that she can never get away with doing it again. Oh, sorry. And she was a swimmer, and there was a lot of pressure on her. So got our answer tonight. And so they reconcile, and all's good. And so then we have, I think we go right into Ramona's birthday, correct? or LuAnn.
A little mini
Oh.
brunch between Ramona,
Yes.
Bethenny, and Carole.
And the
who's late.
pedicure.
Yeah.
That's Bethenny says that. So Bethenny is with Carole and Ramona at brunch or lunch or whatever, and she says that during that scene of Real Housewives, which these two gals hosted, so you guys really would remember the episode. Kyle invited Bethenny to have a dinner party for all of her friends. And somehow LuAnn heard that it was happening, which I don't know how that could have happened. That's really weird, but she heard that it was going to be happening.
Producer leak, maybe.
Definitely.
You know.
And so I guess it was very uncountess-like of her because she invited herself several times, and Bethenny was really turned off by it, and they hadn't really spoken since then. And she brought that up during the brunch. And at the same time, there's a pedicure going on between Jules and Dorinda, and Jules tells Dorinda that she really likes Bethenny now, and everything ended up being well with them. What did you think about LuAnn? Can you picture her doing that? Inviting herself?
I feel like we have like a desperate, thirsty thing going on with
yeah.
her.
For screen
lately.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so obvious at the birthday party. She's like giving the queen bee a brand new bag and re-gifting to the birthday girl. She so obviously wants to be in Bethenny's good graces, get camera time so she can pay her bills, which I think is the ultimate motive.
Yeah. So I was weird. She was looking at places that were $22,000 a month and $9,000 a month, and then we see her at Ramona's party, and we see the tears well up into her eyes, and she said she's living out of her suitcase. And we kind of knew something was up. Why do you want to go move in with Sonja? It seems like the money situation isn't so good now because their kids are probably, because they're over 18 and child support is no longer there, and I don't know what she's left with, but it doesn't, I don't blame her for not talking about it though. That's what represented her for so long. That was kind of her shield in life. And now she's lonely and she doesn't have the money she had and she kind of has to start from scratch. I feel for her. So we do have Ramona's party, 50 gals, lots of facelifts, lots of very wealthy Upper West Side or East Side, I don't know what I'm saying. Lots of very wealthy New Yorkers show up for this Ramona's birthday. Everybody in red except Bethenny, kind of weird. Usually it's the opposite. We find out Ramona thinks that she's colorblind because she thinks black is purple. And when she sees Bethenny's outfit. Nothing too crazy is going on. And then Bethenny hears Ramona saying, Ramona says she told Sonja that she wasn't invited to Bethenny's party because she drinks, and Bethany's like, that's not it at all, actually. I actually don't even have a reason. I just didn't invite her. I haven't seen her in a while. Is this gonna bite Ramona in the ass, guys? Excuse my French.
I feel like it's not because Bethenny was not upset at all about it. Which she said, she goes, I'm not mad at you, but that's just not the reason. And I'm thinking, I wonder what in Bethany's head has her pick and choose who she's going to just go off at and who she's like, oh, I'm not mad about that. Whatever. Too much going on in my life. Let's move on. And she really has this, I don't know if she feels like motherly vibes from Ramona. I don't know what it is. Or that she feels like after all these years, she's never stabbed me in the back. She's only ever been honest with me. I don't know. But she forgives Ramona a lot, in my opinion.
She said that. Didn't she say that at the last reunion?
really
She's
good
like,
point.
I can't get mad at you. Like, I can't stay mad at you.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's a really good point. She does, I mean, at this point with the dress situation, and there's just so much. Yeah, I think she just gets Ramona. She knows Ramona's never coming from a malicious place. Ramona's just Ramona. You like her or you don't like her?
Don't like her.
Yeah. Lyndsey, why don't you be honest for once?
I just don't like, she's always starting drama and says the wrong things and then pins it on somebody else. And I feel like she doesn't mean to be hurtful. I feel like it's not her intention to be hurtful. That's what I should say. It's not her intention to be hurtful. But she also knows what she says could hurt them. And even if it's not your intention, but you think this might hurt somebody if I'm gonna say it, but I don't intend to hurt them, then don't say it. I'm sorry. I don't know. I just don't. I'm getting bad vibes from her and all of her like, I want to go on party and I'm single and this is my time in my life. Great. You know what? That's what you should do. You are single. Like your ex-husband, cheated on you. Absolutely, power to you. But I just think she's doing it the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no experience because I'm 32 years old and single myself. So I have no idea what it would be like to have to re-enter the dating world 20 years from now after I'd been married, if I'd been married. But I don't know, I just don't like, I think these are her friends. Some of these people are really good friends, Dorinda and Sonja. And I feel like she's done some really, really, really mean and hurtful things to them. And she gets away with it. And like Dorinda said, she goes, something's not right now with Bethenny, or with Ramona.
Yeah.
She said that when she was at the pedicure with Jules. She goes, something's not sitting right with me. And good for her for feeling that way, because she really betrayed her friendship. That's how I feel.
So you think maybe she lost a little bit of empathy along with her divorce? Maybe because it seems like when Dorinda brings up later on that she was really there for her during when Dorinda's husband passed away, it was kind of a symbolic. It was symbolic in saying, okay, so during that time she had a lot of empathy for me and she helped me through it. I think right now Ramona's going to be thinking all Ramona because she feels like time is ticking. She's single. She wants to find a man that will love her, and who wants to be alone the entire life, you know? I don't think she wants to. I think she's just so focused on that she's not really focusing on other people's feelings right now.
I think that's how she always is, though.
Do you?
Yeah, her walking across the Brooklyn Bridge, like that famous scene with her and Bethenny. She just always has such an opinion, so judgmental, and just has to say it regardless of the consequences.
With her too, I feel like she's very much like Sonja in like a lot of denial, and it's kind of like she's probably very wounded right now. Like her divorce papers just got signed, which is incredibly upsetting and symbolic of like the death of your marriage. And she brings them over to Sonja's, and she specifically was like, I'm fine, I was sad and now I'm not. And I feel like when she's acting like that and seeming a little manic, she's covering up. So all this behavior of calling other people out and blaming things on other people, she's trying to take her mind off of what's going on with her.
I think it's a control thing. Like she had thought she had a wonderful marriage, a good business for years, and she could kind of not look down on everyone, but have an opinion about everything. And now things are the rug's been pulled out, shaken up. She doesn't have control anymore, and she's like grasping, but she's still like the same person who's saying these judgmental things, and she doesn't care what she says.
I think we're all right.
Yeah. I think in some form we're all right, unfortunately.
So much more interesting character now that she has like a damaged personal life.
Yes.
And she's still the same judgmental person. It's interesting.
I just think deep down I know this, I hate when people say this and I'm going to say it, and but just because I really feel it. I do believe deep down she has a good heart and she does love her friends. She's just so messed up at showing it sometimes, and she doesn't know how to show it. But it's similar to Bethenny. Bethenny, when she was talking about the house to Jules, she actually was coming from a good place. Like, I've already been there, done that. They just have such a weird way of expressing themselves. I also think Ramona has, just like all of them, they all have their selfish tendencies, that's for sure. For sure. But I do see a love for from Ramona to Sonja, especially. I do know she loves her, and I just think it's hard for her right now. She's so
I did have a
confused.
friend, though, who was a producer on the show a few seasons ago. And her opinions of Ramona, Sonja, and I can't remember who the other person that she was in charge of.
LuAnn?
It might have been LuAnn, because this was a few years ago. This is probably like 4 years ago, 5
Maybe
years ago.
Aviva? Oh, no, that would be Aviva. No.
But she said these women were not very nice women.
Really?
Give us a tidbit.
No, I'm not saying anything else.
Yeah, you get it.
Because one of our engineers
But-
was telling us.
But that just what we see. Sometimes I feel like when you see this stuff on TV, you feel like it's produced. You feel like they're pushing, or they find who that person is, and then they just edit you into that. Which I do agree. Sometimes they can do that, and the person may not be like that. But in talking to her, they are who they are, and she said Ramona's not a very, very nice person.
Well, that tells you, I guess. I mean, I don't know.
And this was before anything this was before anything with Mario.
No, I get it. Everybody, she's not going to win every single person over. She's an acquired taste. You either love her or you don't, And I think it's like everybody. Some people are just people pleasers and some people aren't. She's not a people pleaser. Sometimes you like people like that even more, though, because at least they're more
honest.
authentic to themselves. Who wants somebody that agrees with everybody? Who wants a chameleon in their life? So it depends, But overall, I'm glad you at least shared that with us and with everybody listening. You're being honest, as always, our Lyndsey Wegner, our very own. We gave birth to you. I feel like we've given birth to you. All right. And she's just so sweet. Okay, so then we see, I actually thought that LuAnn handled herself really well with Carole. She didn't do the fake kiss, but she did the genuine, oh, hi, Carole. It wasn't rude. I would have done the same thing. How did you guys feel she handled that part?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then with the bag, I also didn't think it was rude. She didn't get a chance to give the gift last time. She could have probably left it at Bethenny's. There's either two scenarios. She either never bought the gift for Bethenny, and then after seeing Bethenny, felt like she wasn't that close to Bethenny and wanted to, get back in her good graces, bought the bag, or she just happened to not bring the bag to the first party, or did, but then brought it home. You wouldn't bring the bag to the party and then bring it home.
Yeah, I think she said it came today.
Got it. Okay, so that explains that. So she brought the bag. I don't think it was rude. It was like, she was like, oh, no, everything's, because somebody mentioned, oh, but this is Ramona's party. And she was like, no, Ramona has her gift too. And then we find out Ramona's gift is something that was already gifted to her, but she had to get it, fitted or something.
Dress karma.
And
That's
it's
what she
LuAnn's
gets.
clothing line or something?
It's from her collection. I think it was a necklace.
Okay, I thought it was a belt or something, but yeah, maybe it was a necklace.
I
I
think
think she said it was a necklace.
Yeah,
right?
and here LuAnn's line is supposed to be extremely affordable, so I think there's probably a huge price gap in the two gifts.
What does a Carlos Falchi bag go for? I never even heard of it.
Me either.
I've never even heard of it.
I've never either, but the women were all pretty excited
Let's
about
Google
it,
it.
so it's gotta be
And
pretty
then it was
fancy.
something big like in the 80s in New York or so. Like Gloria Vanderbilt jeans or something. Let me.
Yeah. Okay, so
Carlos
Megan's- I think it was
Falchi?
Carlos Falchi.
Carlos Falchi.
Carlos Falchi. A Carlos
But-
Falchi bag.
I felt like LuAnn did this nice thing for Bethenny, even if there was something behind it, even if there was a motive behind it. I think that Bethenny really attacked her after she did something nice for her. I feel like this was just a complete attack on LuAnn then.
I know. I feel like if LuAnn really did something wrong, she shouldn't expect to not be confronted about it just because she brought a birthday gift. But I totally agreed with LuAnn when she was like, that was 4 months ago and you've been on my boat since then. Like, why didn't you bring it up sooner? It was so contrived. It felt, and I was actually on LuAnn's side.
It just didn't need to be brought up at the party right then and there. Say, you know what, I got a little beef with you. Let's talk about it some other time right now.
Yeah.
But we've got to talk about this.
Yeah, completely.
So the Carlos bag that Bethenny got, one of them that's used on there right now is going for $145. So
$145?
yeah, that's used. I don't know what it's going for
Some
new.
of his bags are around $500,
Yeah.
but a lot of these are like eBay, like used. So
So regardless, it's a nice gesture. She got it engraved. It was definitely nice. I think. I love Bethenny for what she did because it just shows you can't buy Bethenny. You can buy certain friends, or even if you can't buy them, they would feel too awkward to bring up something that bothered them. But she could not accept that bag unless she said, "Why are you giving me this? 4 months ago, you got mad at me, you badgered me about not inviting you to the dinner party, and I don't understand why." And then we hear LuAnn say something very interesting. She says, "Why are you bringing this up now? I gave you a nice gift. I've seen you several times since then. Why didn't you bring it up then? I saw Bryn. I invited you over to something else and da-da-da." And, which I didn't hear. I thought we did. It seemed to me like they had not spoken at all. But apparently they have seen each other. So I don't know why it wasn't brought up. Does she explain why it wasn't brought up? I don't think she did, right? She just kind of let that go. And then she kind of gets vulnerable and she starts crying. And she says, "I have no place to live right now. I'm living out of my suitcase. I'm lonely," and she says her daughter's gone and off to college or whatever, and you could see Bethenny just was like, "Whoa, I've never seen LuAnn cry." Like, she felt bad for her. Do you think that Bethenny should have brought this thing up earlier to her?
Yes.
Why do you think she didn't? If she'd seen her since then.
it kind of seemed like she saved it for the
Yeah.
show to me. It seemed like, here's the thing, it seemed like LuAnn was playing up to Bethenny for the cameras to try to get camera time, and it also seemed like Bethenny saved that for the camera too. She should have said that she had beef with her before. Or maybe she only felt like saying it because she felt like LuAnn was kissing up to her on camera, so she felt like, well, let's address this on camera then.
It seems like if she really was mad about it, she should have brought it up. So it made no
Yeah.
sense. I was totally on LuAnn's side. I
Yeah.
couldn't understand.
I was on LuAnn's side too. I think she was just really like, she felt very, very hurt, I think, by this and the fact that this kind of came out of nowhere, and I would feel attacked too, like, and get on the defensive about it. I felt really bad for LuAnn. Even if there, I would have been annoyed, and I agree with Bethenny on her with the whole party for Kyle's. I would have been so annoyed with her for doing that and feeling like, what are you trying to do here? You weren't invited. It's okay, but you're not. You can't come. I would have been annoyed, but I wouldn't bring it up 4 months later.
Right. It makes no sense.
Yeah. I just feel like LuAnn walked in with a really good she was in a really good place, and I don't think that sits well with Bethenny, that you can either be really nice or sometimes you could be a little off, but that's life, and that's how people are. We all have moody behaviors and bad days, and I think it some people read that from LuAnn as it being sometimes that she's not authentic and sometimes that she is authentic. I have met LuAnn twice. I'm not saying we hung out and had lunch together, but I have met her. I've interviewed her twice, and I have to say I thought she was so sweet, so warm, just a very nice person. I have a good read on people. I did not feel like she was fame hungry or she was like trying to be all Hollywood. She was very laid back, very cool. I'm gonna say it. And I think I just felt bad. I feel bad that she's lonely right now.
Yeah.
You know, and she tried to give her Bethenny a gift, and I just feel like when someone's at that point in life, they don't, they're alone.
Don't kick them while they're down.
Yeah. You know, she's still on the show. She's trying to stay relevant still. At the end of the day, she doesn't have a place to live. There's not the glamour part of her is not there right now. So she's hanging on to anything, and I feel for her. I really do. But I want to know what you guys think. Obviously, tweet us and comment on YouTube and subscribe if you like it.
Does anyone think maybe she was like thinking Bethenny would give her an invite for a guest room or something? You know what I mean? Like how like I don't want to, I don't want to stay with Sonja all the time. She's a little wild even for me. Maybe Bethenny will have me over in the guest room or Bryn's room.
Oh my God! Good thinking. Maybe.
I think Jules has a lot and her house, obviously.
I'd stay at Jules. Apparently bigger than Bethany's beach house. So.
Seriously.
Yeah. And then we do see Dorinda's speech, which we already kind of tapped into, but it was so sad. And the red alert.
Oh my
red
God.
alert.
Well, I just thought the juxtaposition of her talking so fondly about her husband and how the death, and it was the 4-year anniversary, and they had just talked about John, and of course Ramona was talking smack about it, and I was like, just the juxtaposition of the two was like intense.
Yes, because the scene before that, Ramona goes to sit down next to Dorinda. I don't know if Dorinda had a drink or if she just felt like being so honest.
She seemed like she had had a drink.
Yeah,
I think.
because Tony was like, so what's the deal? Why aren't you tied down yet? Or something like that. And she's like, oh, you know, everybody's a problem with John. And then Ramona sits down and she's like, and anybody who has a problem with John is jealous. They're jealous. And then Ramona goes, where's my purse? And gets is the oven clicking? And she's like literally making up anything. She runs away and she goes, red alert, red alert, red alert. Runs over in a red dress and she's like, I just walked in and I saw Dorinda saying all these things, and all of a sudden Dorinda gets up, I have a speech, and we're all like, and then she says something really sweet and heartwarming, and she had a reason behind it, which she says in her confessional, and she wanted to try to kind of lure her back into who she was before she was single and not liking John. I think it's interesting for anything else you guys want to share, because I would love to get into next week's predictions.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Ramona calling out John to Dorinda, but then Dorinda calling out Ramona about Mario, like the psychic, right?
Okay, we are going to get into predictions then. Is that it? No, I just want to know if you want to share.
Is that what we were doing?
Here we go. I just wanted to know if you want to share anything else before we got into it. It's perfect. You didn't, obviously. It's perfect. No, Lyndsey has a prediction, and she's going to say it again.
I didn't know. I thought that's why we were talking.
No, it's okay. No one's.
She just went right into it, so I was like, I guess no.
It was we love the music.
Passionate, so
She's
I was
so.
like, I don't want to interrupt you with the music.
No, it's okay.
I was beautiful. I love the music.
Lyndsey
Disco
in the
lights.
role of the psychic is delivering the future before we even announce predictions. I loved it.
It's me versus the psychic. I will be representing both of us.
Yes.
Is my face bright red? I feel it. Okay.
No, it actually looks really tan, like you
good.
just left Barbados or something.
Thanks, ladies. Okay. All right. I'm clearly very, very excited about next week and seeing what's going to go down between this whole psychic and the psychic calling out calling out Dorinda not marrying John, and then Ramona saying, what did she say?
She said, "Thank God."
Thank God.
Thank God.
And then Dorinda being like, yeah, like with your ex Mario, he cheated on you. Oh.
I feel like next week is all Dorinda lashing out. She at the
John
psychic.
versus Dorinda.
Yes, exactly. And then Dorinda versus the necklace.
It seems like Sonja's going to announce that she's got a new Prosecco line, which is, first of all, Perfect
loves
branding.
Prosecco.
Good for her. Prosecco's my favorite thing. Like, what are you gonna have to drink and you don't have any time to think about it? I'm like, Prosecco. Like, come on. I don't know
Their
why.
go-to.
I don't know why Ramona's so mad. Don't be jelly.
I can't take it. I can't take it. Oh
Don't be
my God.
Ramona is jelly. Her and her Pinot have been on the shelf for a while, getting dusty.
That's your one. Oh my
This
God,
is
you're
not
the
vodka,
one-liner
by the
for
way.
today.
She is the one-liner. Yeah,
Her and her
seriously.
Pinot have been sitting on the shelf getting dusty. That was amazing.
That was
I am
beautiful.
That was
high-fiving
really
you for that.
Bethany-esque.
Thank you.
That was
I'm
the
channeling-
one-liner of the night.
Channeling my Bethenny.
Yeah.
She was, and you did an
Very.
amazing job, by the way. I actually think that was really funny. I can't even follow that, so I'm just going to say, hey, guys, let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think about next week. We are so excited. You can tweet me at Ashley Daniels. You can tweet Megan at
Megan Stecher.
You guys can tweet me at Lyndsey Wegner.
At Fern Ronay.
We love you guys. You're amazing human beings. Anybody who loves the Real Housewives as much as us, you guys
you're
are
our
really
people.
cool. You're our people. So tune in next week, and until then, please let us know what you thought. We love you.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.